And there he is, joining us now, Trey Hendrickson.
Trey Hendrickson, man. Trey, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah,
Nice to meet you
Nice
guys.
to see you.
I'm Iain. Hey,
I'm Cody.
Nice to meet you.
Cody, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man. So we'll start off. We'll get right into it. Bengals defense had a big shift already this offseason with Coach Lou Anarumo getting, parting ways with the Bengals, and you got Al Golden coming in. Have you had a chance to talk to Coach Golden yet? And what was that conversation like if you have?
Yeah, he touched base with me when he got the job. I have a lot of respect for him, what he's done in the college football arena, playing on the biggest stage. Last time he coached in the NFL was our biggest stage. So he's coached in those big games. I think he's a great hire. Obviously, I love Lou and everything he's done. He's had me highly productive in his defense over the last 4 years. But he's going to do great things for Indianapolis. It's a business at the end of the day, and there are moves that are outside of my control. So, but I love him. I think he's great, and like you said, he's going to do great.
I mean, it says a lot about Coach Anarumo that he was on the open market for like 2 weeks, and he's got a new job, right? So it says a lot about him.
And he was going for head coaching jobs and interviews about 3 years ago. I just don't see that change happening that quick. But again, those are decisions that are outside of my wheelhouse.
No, 100%.
Now, you and the rest of the Bengals have done something that no one else has done over the past 4 years, and that is obviously beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs.
Yes.
What is the key to doing it? Because it seems like time and time again, other teams, they have they're in the spot where they can do it, and then it just slips through their grasp right at the very end. What were you guys able to do differently, or what do teams in the future need to do differently to take down the back-to-back and maybe 3-time defending Super Bowl champions?
Yeah, I think it's difficult because, we played them in the regular season this year and fell short. It was on the last drive as well. So, I think they're a good team that they're always in the fight, and they have a great quarterback, and a good surrounding cast. And also having Andy Reid as your head coach doesn't hurt. So, I think they're a quality team. If you can put them away and put them away early, I think Tampa was another team that did that back in the day with Tom Brady. It's a tough one because he's incredibly talented, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Now, I'll tell you, as fans, we're sick of seeing the Chiefs win. It's the same team every single year. We want to see a new team get in there. As a player, do you feel that? Obviously, you're not going to cheer for them. You're going to cheer against them. But watching the playoffs, were you kind of cheering for someone other than the Chiefs?
I don't really cheer for anybody, but like if I had to pick out of the two, I usually tend to go in the AFC. That's our division and our conference, obviously. It's one of those things. I do respect that they're going for something like three-peating, and I think that's pretty cool. So for the game of football, it's great. For fans, not too great.
Unless you're a Chiefs fan.
At the end of the day, I think they're solid.
So kind of on that note, on the Chiefs note, I feel like the Bills-Chiefs rivalry in the playoffs gets a lot more attention than the Bengals-Chiefs rivalry, but y'all have the win. The Bills do not. Do y'all in the locker room feel a little bit of disrespect behind that?
Well, you have to make the playoffs to be in that conversation.
Right, yes.
So missing it the last 2 years has been a little disappointing. But there's a lot of positives to build off of. We had a 5-game win streak to end the season. We were close to putting our hat in the ring. But at the end of the day, winning a couple of those games early and often is going to be something we're going to turn around moving forward.
You're obviously entering the final year of your current contract. When that happened with the Saints, you had a bit of a breakout season that year, 13.5 sacks. Is that mentality when you're in a contract year, does that motivate you a little bit more, a little cherry on top of your motivation heading into a big season like that?
Yeah, and we're in discussions about, kind of avoiding a free agency type look,
Right.
And my agent has been doing a great job communicating that with everybody. I love Cincinnati. My son was born there. My family my wife got a residency at the VA hospital there. She's got her doctorate in pharmacy. So, there's so many good things that Cincinnati has given me and the opportunity to play at a high level. So, I would ideally stay there and stay there for a long time.
So, speaking on free agency, another big name is a free agent this year from your team, Tee Higgins. And I know that a lot of, Jamar Chase, guys on some of your teammates have expressed wanting to bring him back. I'm not going to ask you if you want to bring him back because I'm assuming you do. Y'all are a close locker room. But at the same time, as a player, how do you deal with that kind of being out of your hands, like you said with Coach Anarumo?
You can only say so much, and at the end of the day, I think Joe Burrow's done a good job of speaking openly about it as well. But I respect Tee Higgins. He's accepted the role that he was in. Some guys, complain when they don't get the ball.
Right.
As a wide receiver, too, that can be in wide receiver one all around the league. I think that's a special respect I have for him. Like I said, I have his jersey. The respect is earned, never given, and he's done a great job handling adversity, and he'll provide for his family.
Now, you're obviously here with Old Spice, so tell us about your partnership with them.
Yeah, it's the Old Spice Total Body Dry Field Deodorant. It's their new product. They're doing great, as in like keeping the NFL fresh 24/7. And quite frankly, we need a lot more guys to wear it. It's there for them. That's the vibe for today. So.
What's the funkiest locker room experience that you've had where you're like, God, we could really use some Old Spice up in here?
Yeah, I've been throwing BJ Hill under the bus all day. He's my guy. I love him, but man, I told him he'd be repping Old Spice here soon because they got to partner up here soon.
He needs to be at least.
No doubt.
Speaking of the locker room, bit of a weird question. I've asked some other players about this week, but who controls the music in the locker room for you guys?
For the most part, over the last couple of years, it was Joe Mixon, Orlando Brown. Those guys were in the mix, and then obviously Joe did great things with the Houston, so he's probably rocking it over there too. But yeah, Sam Hubbard will throw some mixes in there too. Joe Burrow as well.
Is that like a pressure position? Like if a playlist isn't hitting, is someone gonna vote them out and vote someone else in?
We haven't ran into any of that, so we've had some good vibes, so it's been good.
What are your thoughts on obviously the Super Bowl this week? Defense, I think, is going to play a big role for both teams. How do you see the game turning out?
I think it'll be close. I think they're both two teams that are solid in their own rights. I think the Eagles' offensive line is they've controlled games in the past and helped Saquon Barkley get loose. Anytime you have a rusher running over 100 yards as a defender, that's never a great place to be.
Right.
So, stop the run, have some fun, get the passer. I think that's what quarterbacks don't want to do on Sundays.
No, and you talk about the Eagles on the other side of the line, the defensive line. There's some monsters over there as well. And the Chiefs have had kind of shuffling around on the offensive line, but in the playoffs, we've seen Joe Thuney move out to the left tackle spot from the guard spot. As an edge defender, are you kind of licking your chops there with someone who's a little bit inexperienced there, or is that someone who, with Joe Thuney being who he is that someone where you're like, okay, it's just a different type of challenge?
So when you guys had Orlando, I think it was 2022 or 21.
Yeah.
Thuney stepped up and was the left tackle.
You said you guys. I'm not a Chiefs fan, so
yeah, it's one of our shows.
Sorry,
one of our shows.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a Chiefs guy.
So he stepped up and was the tackle with me. I think they did great. The scheme is good. You have to change some things around, but he holds his own. He's doing great. And much respect for him.
100%.
We are not Chiefs fans. I'm a Falcons fan. I know you want to stay in Cincinnati. You got a bit of a situation you have to deal with this offseason, and hopefully, I know you want to get it sorted out soon. If you do go to another team, I do want to let you know the Falcons are a pass rusher away from being a Super Bowl.
I'll keep that in mind.
So just keep that in mind moving forward. Outside of obviously all the contract stuff, in terms of actual training and preparation, what does the offseason look like for you?
There's some guys that fly all over the country. You could work with specialists. If that works, that's great. I just try to get faster and stronger. It seems like it's like a given.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not. Training is something that I put a lot of respect in. Diet, sleep, those things are where you make your jump as a younger player.
No, 100%. And I think we've seen that pay off. You're coming off back-to-back 17.5 sack seasons. Both your career high. You set it and then you matched it, which is pretty impressive. And congrats to you on that. But like Iain said, you're trying to get something worked out with Cincinnati, but when you were in a contract year in New Orleans, and if you do have to play out a contract year, how do you better 17.5 sacks?
Well, it's like the discipline and fundamentals that get you here. And obviously I've been blessed by my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, to continue to do what I love and at a high level. So, at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. Let the chips fall where they will,
right.
And we'll go from there.
Awesome, man.
I want a prediction from you for Super Bowl MVP. The obvious answers are the quarterbacks. You could toss in Saquon Barkley, but what I want from you, name a defensive player from either team that you think has a chance to win Super Bowl MVP on Sunday.
I think Jalen Carter's pretty special. Obviously they have to win the game. And also Chris Jones, very special. Both interior defensive linemen that I think can wreck the game.
Do you have a final score prediction for us?
Oh, man. It could go either way. It could be high scoring, could be low scoring, but I have no idea.
Fair enough. I'm going to say 24-20 Chiefs. I can't pick
Let's
against the
that.
Chiefs. I've picked against the Chiefs the past 2 Super Bowls. I'm not doing it a third time in a row. I got to back the Chiefs this time.
Yeah, I mean, this is the world's premier Chiefs hater. Like, he's got Nick Wright calling him out on Fox Sports 1. It's been a year for him, and he's finally come over to the dark side.
I called the Chiefs frauds halfway through the season, and that has not worked out well for me. So.
That's great.
Trey Hendrickson, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Nice
I really
meeting you
appreciate
guys.
it. Nice
Yes,
meeting
sir.
you as well. Good luck this offseason, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.